All right, so I'm doing a 2016 Kia Sorento, all-wheel drive, 2.4, because it's not the turbo one. It's a 21. So I'm just gonna get that off real quick. Take the wheel off, set that to the side. You can see how shiny it is, and you can see the grooves that the brake pad starting to put into there. You can see how. Let's see if I can get the camera there. But you can see how thin that pad is. I'm gonna take it off in a second. I believe it is a 14 on the back. Grab the 15. And it is, yeah, it's a 14 millimeter on the back. So let's go ahead and take that off. So get the caliper bracket off. It is a 17 mil. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that. Got a long breaker bar. You know, it's easier if you turn the wheel, you know, your way, so you have more room. I'm actually gonna do that real quick. You get screwdrivers. You want these ones that you can put as like a strike through, because you don't want the plastic here. Then you're just gonna crack the handle, and then you'll just have that piece of metal you'll be trying to hold on to and smack it with a hammer. It's not gonna feel too good. You know, you can get these at Harbor Freight, a whole different bunch of them. Got a whole variety. All right. You also want some of these bands for the caliper. Where'd it go? These hook things, you know. You get these stretchy ones or the old metal ones, you know. You just want to, hang it. That's all I do. Make sure not too much pressure on the hose on, and you're good. Oop. Just like that. So I'm gonna take the screwdriver, smack the end with the hammer, both sides. Boop. There's two of them on this one. A lot of them only have one screw, and sometimes it's not always a Phillips head. Sometimes it's like those E-sockets, I guess. You know, they look more like a 8-sided star or something like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, got that off. Make sure you clean this off. Brush all this off. And then put some anti-seize around there. I'm gonna do that now. Let's probably just cover this whole thing. Anti-seize, you know. It's a thick, not a thick coating, just thin, you know, swipe that, paint it on there. Get the new rotor. I gotta figure out which one is the same size as that one, so I'm gonna grab it, match it up. I'll show you how to do that in a second too. In this instance, it's kind of easy to tell the difference. This is the front one, so it just looks just like that. These are the rear ones, they're not vented. You have that deep section for that parking brake, you know, the deep center with that lip. So, yeah. Stuff I took out of that one is in there. All the stuff is in here. Pads, 2 and 2, doing front and back. All right, so we'll just spray this down. I don't think it has a coating on it. I think that's just for rust. I believe this is the rust coating one with the ceramic brake pads, ceramic front and back. All right, just gonna spray this down just to, if it has any preservatives, and get it on there. Alright, got it back in there. I mean, I got the new, new one on there. I got it hand tight. You know, my hand tight. I'm gonna tap it with the hammer, and then I'm gonna put a wrench on the end. And just turn it just a little bit. But these are really just, you know, placement set screws. The only reason they're usually just hard to get out is just because, you know, rust, you know, it just starts to rust together. You just get pretty good in there. But put some anti-seize in there. You know, you don't want it super tight. It's nothing crazy. The more important part is making sure you get all that rust off of the surface on the back. because that'll cause the shaking. You know, this end up getting some room, just enough, and start giving some vibrations and stuff like that. So that's how you want to clean that up a lot, and put some NCs on there just to make it easier. Next time you gotta change them, because you're gonna have to change these. These not gonna last forever. You're gonna have to change them. But anyways, I'm gonna go to cleaning the brake caliper bracket assembly. All right, make sure you clean off these side pins. You know, make sure you clean up these side pins and put some new lube on there. You know, when you're taking the pads out, I gotta push make sure you clean off all this. You know, with this in there, make sure you clean up underneath this clip thing. Make sure you brush that out with a wire brush. If you have a wire wheel, that's even better. You know, but this suffice too. Just get up in there and just get up in that thing and just get good in there, because you want it nice and smooth, so that way this is not up and bunching up, and the brake pads won't fit in there correctly. So just avoid all those issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Trying to see if I can record some of this. I broke my stand, so yeah, that'll work. Get in there good. Because of that, it's cleaned out real good. You know, if you need, use a little file, get in there, in the corners, but that's in the way, that's all. It's nice and clean. Clean inside here too. Get that brake clean. Get up in there. Oh, and yeah, take the boot off too. See that boot out. If you have a circular wire brush, I'm gonna get in there too with that. Just make sure it's nice and clean in there. I don't know. I misplaced my other one somehow. But yeah, one of these things is what I'm talking about. It's for reference. Get up in there. It's obviously a lot better if you had a drill one, but this is good right here. Up in there a little bit. And in there braid it out, lube it up. That's it. As I said, just want to be very liberal with this. You know, everywhere where that bracket is going to touch, you're going to want to get that cleaned up real good. Alright, looking nice. Get the bolts too. Yeah, the bolts looking pretty crusty. You know, that's always good to have a wire wheel, because then you can kind of put the bolt in the socket and get at it. You know. Sorry, you know, do what we can to clean it up. So, you know, this is important, you know, for servicing it next time, and that's professionalism. Just get that cleaned up. You know, just want to clean these off. Clean everything off. Alright. Let that sit there and dry. Don't forget, we also got to push the caliper back in. So we're going to take this, that. Actually, probably going to use this one. Hopefully you got that. It doesn't come with this back plating, so I'm going to take this and put this on the new brake pad as well. And that's the brake pad with the two wide posts here and here. Find a new brake pad, match it up, make sure the squeak thing's on the same thing. So as you can see, it has 2 marks in it. Oh shoot. So I'm gonna put some anti-seize behind there, clean this up too. Alright. Just trying to make sure I point the camera out. I think that's good. Get that out the way. But I'm gonna put the bracket on there next. Put some NCs on the bolts too while we're at it. Threads. Some NCs on the bolts. Yeah, I got some anti-seize on there on the rotor. So I'll clean that up too. Anti-seize gets everywhere. Even a little bit goes a long way. A lot goes all the way, you know. They're good. I don't know the torque specs. We'll just know you get that motherfucker on there good for sure. Cool. just in case I got some on the rotor. Need the hardware. That's it. In the back, put a little bit. I need a flathead because it's not sitting exactly flush. Let's get this. Something on the brake pad. Got to get that off of there. That's what it is. It's going to happen. I got to do the grease. Start on the grease for the slide pins. It's just a little paintbrush. I'm just gonna put it on the little slide thing area. And then slide inside the pad area. Release contact. Head. It's not obvious. Don't go crazy because it's gonna slide the brake pad in there. It's gonna try to push some, out. That in there. On the back I'm gonna use grease on this side though. Alright, got that one first one in. Just taking my time, pacing myself, not rushing. This is a, big job really. I don't know how long I've been recording for, but 30 minutes. And that's in between stopping, kind of looking for stuff. I didn't have everything really prepped and ready to go. That. There's holes that these go through. Wait a second before I do that because I still have to do these slide pins. Slide pin nice and good. I guess that makes you clean the boots up too. Just use a paper towel, getting it in there. Just trying to get all the old grease out. seems alright. I'm just gonna put a little more for in the boot, kinda. I'm not gonna overfill the boot, just kinda some in there. Yeah, there we go. Got boot on there. Where's that on? Sorry. Chop it again. Gotta put these in there. And yes, they do kind of push the brake pads out, so also watch out for that. So I'm gonna try to push the brake pads out, so I can kind of hold it. That's grease in there. That's it. So, this one's grease in the top one. Let a little bit of it come out, with grease come out. Caliper back to bolts. Remember, it's a 15. You may have to put a wrench on this inner nut, the other side of the side pin, because it might try to move. Sorry, not a 15, a 14. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so it's not moving, so I can just kind of, do it by hand. Get that on there. And now we're done with this side. All right, let's just rinse and repeat on the other side. I'll turn this back on when I'm starting the rear. I just want to record something because I'm finishing up on the other side. I just wanted to show how bad the other rotor was on the inside. And this little plating thing, had cracked. I'm obviously going to pull this piece off so it doesn't fall off and get stuck in between the rotor and stuff. So just want to peel that piece off. But it will stay. We still got the other section of it that will fit on the back of the brake pad, as I said, like so, like that. We just don't want this getting stuck in there. We don't want any complaints later, noise and stuff like that. But yeah, I just wanted to show that real quick. Let me finish it up on this other side. I started the back. It's a 14. So this caliper bracket. You gotta get the bracket off to properly get the thing out. To get the brake pads out. So just give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll set this in. Okay, so. Oh, here we go. It'll work. So all I'm doing is getting these two brackets out of here. Let's see. Not that. It's 14 there. 14 up here. I'm getting it. 14. 14 down there. I'm gonna get those two out. That's what I'm gonna do right now. You gotta watch that lower one. It's kind of close with having the half inch. So if you got a wrench, preferably a ratcheting one, probably if there's enough space back here. But anyways, do it by hand. It's gonna take a little longer. That's it. So. Until you start kind of getting it by hand. Once you get it by hand, you start pressing it out. Come on. There you go. Another one. Again, this one has two screws, so we use a screwdriver, smack that, try to pull it forward. You might have to adjust the drum brake on the inside to get it off, because it might have a lot of rust on there, and it might have a lip. I might be keeping it on there on the inside, but let's go ahead and see. It's not much of a lip. I was able to just kind of smack the back of it a little bit and then shimmy it back and forth and get it off. Brake pads look good in here. They look uniform, even throughout on both sides. I'm gonna spray some brake clean in here to clean this up, and then reverse order. So let me go ahead and let's see what this. Let's show this part. Yeah, so you want to spray everything, get brake dust off of any and everything. Don't worry, the brake pads will dry out. It's okay. Spray that. Alright, because you see, gets a little build up in there. Can I get that up? There's points where this holds against on the back side, but you just do that when you're changing out the brakes, or you ask for that little bit more of a service, because you don't really want to disturb this and have to just spend time doing that when it seems that they weren't dragging in the uniform. So you just want to put some anti-seize, just want to leave that alone. You don't really have to grease that up because it won't be making noise because it doesn't move as often as these brakes. Those slide pins and contact points are more important. Those are the ones that move the most. These don't move as often, so they're really not going to make noise. And if they do, it's only when you're applying the parking brake, really. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm just going to apply this liberally on this, Alright, let me go grab the other caliper. I mean, not caliper. Let me grab the rotor so I can throw that on there real quick and then go and attack this. Also, don't forget the plug off of the old one. Alright, don't forget to take that and transfer it to the new one. Whew. This pad on the inner side, this side is skinny, but this inner one is, that one is kind of stuck, boy. I couldn't do it by hand. I got it. That one's pretty stuck on this side. So I said you gotta make sure to lubricate that stuff. This rear caliper looks, yikes. Let's try to push it back though. It's pretty corroded. Go for it though. Same as the front, same as the rear. I'm gonna put some anti-seize underneath these. Make sure they're sitting flush, don't have it like that other one sitting on the other side. You can see it's all up. You want it nice and flush, alright? You're gonna want it like that. Nice and flush, not like that other side, alright? I'm gonna do the same thing. Put some anti-seize on the inside. Let me see. Try to do this one hand. So you want? So I'm gonna put some anti-seize in there. On here, everywhere that thing is gonna make contact with. And then just throw the plate in there. Make sure it's center. And like I said, flush. So let me do that. Get this in, get it over with.